Hare Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswate Devi, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashate Desata, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nandate Giri Yatrupata Mahamande Shri Gurundi Natharine. Hare Krishna. So today we'll see verse number 17. Now Krishna is almost mentioned qualities and how is the thought process, and because of the thought process what happens to the demonic people. So yesterday shloka was they have a lot of anxiety, and because of illusion they get attached to sense enjoyment, and their activities take them towards hell. So in this verse Krishna takes further discussion that there was this mention that in verse from 13 to 15 that they do some sacrifice or some charity. So how they do this charity, that is explained, or sacrifice. Atmasambhavita stabda
आत्मसम्भाविता सा स्तब्धा
dhanamana madanvitaha
धनमानमदान्विता
yante nama yakyaiste
यजन्ते नाम यज्ञस्ते
dambena avidipurvakam.
दम्भेन अविधिपूर्वकम्
So,
आत्मसम्भाविता स्तब्धा धनमानमदान्विता यज्ञते नम यज्ञस्ते दम्भेनाविधिपूर्वकम्
आत्मसम्भाविता स्तब्धा धनमाना मदान्वितः यजन्ते नाम यज्ञस्ते दम्भेन अविधिपूर्वकम्.
translation and purport: self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and prestige. They sometimes proudly perform sacrifice in name only, without following any rules and regulation. Purport: thinking themselves all in all, not caring for any authority or scripture, the demonic sometimes perform so-called religious or sacrificial rites, and they do not believe in, since they do not believe in authority, they are impudent. This is due to delusion caused by accumulating some wealth and false prestige. Sometimes such demons take up to the role of preacher, mislead the people, and become known as religious reformers or as incarnation of God. They make a show of performing sacrifice, for they worship the demigods and manufacture their own gods. Common men advertise them as God and worship them, and by the foolish they are considered advanced in principles of religion or in principles of spiritual knowledge. They take the dress of renounced order of life and engage in all nonsense in that dress. Actually, there are so many restrictions for one who has renounced this world. The demons, however, do not care for such restrictions. They think that whatever path one creates is one's own path, and there is no such thing as standard path one has to follow. The word avitipurvakam, meaning a disregard of the rules and regulations, is specially stressed here. These things are always due to ignorance and illusion. So Krishna, in so many shlokas, like almost last 10 shlokas, Krishna is explaining about the demonic qualities and demonic persons. So in any shastra, when any certain point is stressed more than once or twice or thrice, that means Krishna or the shastra or the Vyasdev, they want to mention or give extra emphasis on that point, that we should be careful. So Krishna here is giving the in detail, Krishna mentioned about the divine qualities from 1 to 3. Right? He mentioned the qualities by which we can identify. But the demonic person, he is giving much more in detail about their thoughts and how they act, so that we can identify such people, or we can identify such qualities in ourselves also, to get to overcome them, or at least to understand that these qualities are demonic. Because as we see in the shloka, that just because of the wealth and power and position, we become so much in illusion that many times we don't understand that we are in pride, or we are showing up the things, we are pretending. It's very difficult for us to understand. Even if somebody tells us, we don't acknowledge that, or we don't agree to that. So it is not that Krishna is talking about the demonic people only, but it can happen with anyone. It can happen with me also, that I don't understand that I am in pride, and I will do such activities, and I will show, I will act as a pretender, and I will do few things that are against Shastra, against Dharma. But Krishna will try to give me direction from somewhere. If I take it, I can improve myself. But if I cannot, then I will, like the last words, path to hell. I will degrade myself. So there are many qualities that degrade, and that is what Krishna is explaining, that all these demonic qualities take us away from the bhakti process. But we have to remember chapter 9, verse 30. Krishna says that if a sadhu, he commits mistakes, but he is fully determined to progress towards the spiritual path or ultimate goal, his ultimate goal is Krishna, then Krishna considers him sadhu, or we should consider him as sadhu, not looking at the occasional faults. So that is also there. But this here, Krishna is explaining about demonic people who are purposefully doing the activities which are against the Shastra. And we can very easily identify such people by the show of power. Either they show the power of position, or they want to show the power of wealth, by which they establish their identity or establish their superiority, and then they expect people, other people, to respect them, to glorify them, to worship them, not exactly worship, but look at them as their ideals. So this type of things we can easily observe in this world. And it's not like that it will happen only in the outside world, it can happen anywhere. Okay, so these organizations who are involved in different social services, or even spiritual organizations, or even temple, or even any ashram anywhere in Rishikesh or anywhere, this thing can happen, where people try to show the position. So we should not get surprised if something like this happens where it is least expected, because ultimately all this is material world, and the jivas who are in this world are not still pure, and there are jivas who are demonic, who have these tendencies. So it's always going to be mix of people who have good qualities and bad qualities, and there will be always um, arguments, or disagreements between these people. So we should not be surprised, but we should take those opportunities to understand that yes, whatever Krishna mentioned, or whatever written in Bhagavatam, we can actually see. So this false prestige and this wealth, power, position is very common everywhere. And because Kali Yuga has one quality, that a person who has wealth or who has power, they will rule over the other people. That is mentioned in Bhagavatam, 12th canto. So in Kali Yuga, it's going to be like that, that people will try to prove their dominance by the power and position and wealth. So that's why that is what happening. And if it happens anywhere, we should not get surprised, or we should not jump into conclusion who is right, who is wrong. Rather, we should be introspective that, yeah, this is Kali Yuga, and this is material world where every soul or every jiva, even if he is practicing bhakti or is trying to do some social activities which are helpful to people at large, but still they are in material world, so they will commit mistakes. So here Krishna is very clearly telling that these people who have demonic nature, they sometimes try to show, give charity or do some sacrifices. That includes the fire sacrifices. Okay, people do fire sacrifices and invite many people to, and they advertise it as to purify everyone, or everything. But their actual intentions are opposite. They want to establish their position. So they do something like this and invite everyone so that everyone will praise them, or everyone will look them as something above normal people. So, and in that they generally do the things as they want to do, even if some things are not mentioned in Shastra, they will not hesitate to do that. They will do that. So this nature of dominance and showing of power and wealth is very degrading to the soul, because it takes us away from surrendering process. So if we have to surrender to God because of all these activities and all this thought process, actually we treat ourselves as, or the demonic person treats himself as the supreme. And so that is actually going away from the bhakti path. So going away from the bhakti path means going to the hell. That's what Krishna explained. So I think in the next verse, Krishna will conclude, and in next couple of verses, he will try to conclude this explanation and how this is overcome. So we'll see that tomorrow. 16. Yes. So any comments or anything? Those who are envious, mischievous, who are lost. There are 3 gates leading to hell, but I will escape the 3 gates. Yeah, so Krishna will explain about what happens with such people in the next 3-4 verses. Okay, we'll see that tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.